Don't use AI for the sake of AI. Use it for solving real business problems.
You as a leader set the bar, right? It's not 10%. You can do 2x more, you can do 5x more, you can do 10x more. Do not settle.
So what is important is to kind of invest in a unified data platform and kind of bringing both structured and unstructured all together so you could kind of build things on top of agents easily.
Really looking forward to diving in on all things agents. Thank you so much for joining me here today. So let's start off with the big picture. 2025 was very much the year where AI hype transformed into real ROI, and it's clear that 2026 is shaping up to be the year where enterprises get AI agents into production. From your collective vantage points, how do leaders need to readjust their priorities in order to best harness agents to drive business outcomes? And Hito, why don't we start with you?
Thanks for having me, Ryan. And yes, I agree with you. We've seen already a lot of our customers, including ourselves internally, already building these agents that are driving real business value. And so in order to do that, I would say there are three things that the leaders need to focus on. The first one is focusing on the most important business use case that you want to solve on. Don't use AI for the sake of AI. Use it for solving real business problems. The second one is equipping your workforce with what they need to be able to succeed with working with AI, whether it's the right trainings for them, whether it's giving a space for them to experiment and just create that culture of training and change management. And then the last one is building the right quality guardrails in place. As we are moving more and more towards automation, ensuring that you can trust these agents with the right automation is key. And so putting the right data foundations in place, the right evaluation criteria, and the continuous testing in place, as well as the human in the loop, will become critical.
Great, Jared. Thank you so much for those three high-level takeaways. Now, Vivek, would love your perspective.
I'll actually start by echoing this sentiment in the question, right? We are in year 9 of the transformer revolution, if you will, that has kicked the age of LLMs off. The first 4 years there, I think they were the years of research. 2020 to 2023, maybe the years of the tech starting to translate into products. 24, 25 was really the years that things started to become real. I think 26, and I think I was in your show last year, and I said 25 would be the year of value.
It's been a year, yeah.
And I think 26 will be the year of real value, right? And as the leader running a large engineering organization, I think there are two axes you can think of as a leader. One is, how can I make all my existing processes go much faster, right? And the second is, how do I rethink my processes? So one is, can you make the train go faster? The second is, can you build a plane, right? And as you think of how you generate value, I'd say a couple things. One is, AI, like all tech, is tech. You need to be very structured about how you create the top-down and bottom-up pressure in your organizations to drive value. By top-down, I mean the standard things we do as leaders, create accountability, create ways to measure how you're doing and drive value that way. But bottom-up is equally important. You need to take the champions in your organization who are building cool stuff, you need to elevate them, you need to make them often become leaders in your organization. And you need to make sure your organization sees working and embracing the future of agents as something that helps drive the organization forward. And so I would say those are two big things I think of. In terms of the second big thing, and this is the one I'd leave all of you with, is you as a leader set the bar. Right? It's not 10%. You can do 2x more, you can do 5x more, you can do 10x more. Do not settle. Right? Your teams can do a lot more than you think they can do. Resist the urge to spend a lot of time planning. The biggest thing AI does is you can build demos instead of writing docs. We went from the age of waterfall to agile development like in the last 30 years. AI is agile on steroids, right? You should be able to plan on Monday, ship on Friday. If you're not doing that, you're not at the cutting edge. You just need to do it.
Very well said. And Dwarak, from your lens.
Yeah, I think I would say two main things for agents to work. It is almost like a garbage in, garbage out in some sense. So what is important is the context and the data that we feed into agents is going to be super important. And how do you do it in a very governed way? So what is important is to kind of invest in a unified data platform and kind of bringing both structured and unstructured all together so you could kind of build things on top of agents easily. The second one is going from, I think there is an urge to build prototypes, build quickly prototypes, and there is a big kind of a cliff between like going to prototypes to production. And it's important to kind of figure out how to kind of embed your prototypes within your daily workflows, within your internal workflows for all engineers as well as your customers. So thinking about that deeply and kind of starting small are the two main things I would say.
Well said, Dwark. And I love the fact that we're very much able to kind of round robin this because these topics are so broad. So thank you for your collective insights. And now that we have that baseline, I want to very much dive into the details. And Anahita, a question for you. For some watching this who might worry about trusting agents with complex tasks and sensitive data, what initial steps should they take to ensure their data foundations are set up for AI success?
Yeah, I mean, and I think I'll build on what Dwark was just saying, is there's no AI strategy without a data strategy. We have said that many times. You said garbage in, garbage out. It always starts with the basics, right? And your data needs to be trustworthy so that your agent can give trustworthy results. So it starts with building the right semantic backbone, aligning on quality standards, and tying it to outcomes that are robust, and putting robust valuations in place and success metrics that you can continue to measure. So those are the things that you need to make sure that the results that you get from the agents are trustworthy.
Very well said. Thank you for that, Anahita and Vivek and Dwark. From a technical perspective, what are the most common challenges you hear from companies trying to roll out agentic AI, and what's your best advice for overcoming them? Vivek, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think when I think of shipping products, like one thing that got burned into me through the last 15 years of working was what I call the commitment value trade-off, right? Great products give you value without requiring a lot of commitment. If you need lots of commitment upfront, like the value generation has to be that much higher. So when I look at and talk to customers, I hear three common sets of challenges, right? One is, if I commit, will I drive value, right? That is the million-dollar question in their heads, right? And the way I read that is, what is all the prep work I need to do to get my enterprise data organized, to Anahita's point, and the semantics of my data in a place where if I build an agentic AI system, it will work at high quality and drive enterprise value, right? And I call this the if you commit, we will deliver value problem, right? And great is high quality, high performance, but really like reliability, right? I would argue many enterprises are currently in that phase of the value driving cycle. The second is, okay, now I have figured out a way to drive value if I commit a lot, but the most important thing is everyone's busy. How do I reduce the time it takes to get all my enterprise data and the semantics of my data into shape, right? It turns out AI can help with that as well. We're finding, for example, that coding agents are great at building semantic models. You can send them some queries people have done in the past, and the semantics of data are often expressed not in the data, but in the queries that people do on the data, right? And so coding agents can extract the semantics and make agents of very high quality. And this I hearken to as the problem of how do I reduce the commitment needed to drive value. If you had to, for example, tell a search engine everything about your life before you could like actually get search results, that would not work, right? And so we need to solve that second step. The third is, and I don't think this is going to happen in 2026, is once I have a great working system, how do I drive the quality up, latency down, cost down, right? How do I personalize it to my enterprise? How do I get to a place where this can be used like a million times a day in production without me worrying about it? That particular problem, which I call the ROI problem, that I think is a 2027 problem. I think 2026 is very much the R problem. Like, where do I get return?
Very well said. And Dwark, anything you'd like to add?
Cool, yeah, I guess I would say three things. One, to add to Anahita's point on trust. That's a super important kind of element, because agents have the tendency to kind of hallucinate. So how do you kind of ground them in your enterprise data, both for structured and unstructured? And context plays a very key role within that element. The third one is the scale. I think currently most of our infrastructure, everything is built for like humans to actually use it. Think about the world where like agents are going to be using our infrastructure. And so the way we think about scale has to be very different in terms of like, generally computers can do much more faster, much more brute force in a lot of these things. So the amount of SLAs that we have to think about are different between humans and agents. So how do we kind of manage that and build infrastructure grounds up, which is natively supported for agents, is going to be it's a very critical aspect here.
Well, we're off to a great start. I know we're focusing on predictions for 2026. We're already talking predictions for 2027. I absolutely love this conversation. So thank you for your collective feedbacks. And now I want to bring it back to the AI Data Cloud. And Snowflake has long embodied the ethos that you don't have an AI strategy without a data strategy, referenced a couple times already in this conversation. From each of your perspectives, what does a good AI strategy look like in an agentic world? And where should organizations be investing now to ensure their agents can function reliably in an enterprise environment? Dwark, why don't we stick with you?
Yeah, so a couple of points to start with. One is personalization and customization is going to be key moving forward, because there is going to be easier for doing like agents, but understanding agents to what for a specific developer or a customer to kind of customize this using memory as an important element is going to be one of the big areas. The second one is how do you reason over structured and unstructured data across a huge amount of your knowledge within the enterprise. So those are, I would say, like the two main things in my opinion.
Great to hear. And Vivek would love it from a product perspective.
I think from a product perspective, I'd just say don't treat AI as some newfangled thing. Like don't take all your decades of best practices that you have for product development and throw them out the door, right?
Right.
Try get the best of both worlds, like AI and your traditional processes. Last I checked, if you want to build a product, you still need use case discovery. You still need to write down requirements. You still need like functional specs. You still need to figure out how to build these systems. Still need to figure out how to test them. You need to make sure they're reliable, they're performant, they're efficient from a cost perspective. You still need to find ways to capture all aspects of the data life cycle, whether it's inception, transformation, consumption. Governance is still key, lineage is still key. Don't forget all those things. Just keep doing those things, except reinvent them in an AI world.
Very much building on the foundations that are already working. And Anahita, from an executive leadership perspective, would love your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, so a few things that we already talked about. So one is building the right data foundation. This is why Snowflake customers are some of the most AI-ready customers, because their data is AI-ready, right? And how do you make your data AI-ready? You have to have the right definitions, the right semantics, the right lineages, the right access controls in place, putting the right quality measurements in place. So that would be the first thing that customers have to get ready for in order to be prepared to go into this age of making AI a reality and a business value, as Vivek said. From an organizational perspective, making change management a CEO level priority, giving a space to employees to experiment, to learn, providing the right trainings, providing the right change management available to those employees will be key. Creating a quality control function to ensure that as you're enabling the entire organization to experiment with AI, you still keep the bar on the quality high. And just making it a priority for the company to move in that direction.
Thank you for that, Anahita. And I realize we've covered a lot in this discussion, but I want to wrap this segment. And Vivek, you'll know I always like to lead into the hot takes for the year ahead. What's the single biggest piece of advice you'd like to leave the audience with today in order for them to be successful in this agent future world that we now find ourselves in? Anahita, let's stay with you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll repeat a little bit of what I said earlier, but one, picking the right problem that matters the most to your organization, whether it's increasing your revenue, whether it's investing in your sales force efficiency, in your marketing campaign optimizations. Pick that based on the business value so you can rally your workforces around that. That's one of the most important things that you have to do. And then the second one is prepare your workforce for the future.
Great to hear. And Dwark.
Cool. Yeah, I think the main thing, in my opinion, is that you cannot buy your way into agentic future, which means that it's not going to be the best model is going to actually win. It's about like how do you kind of engineer your AI into your workflow for the developer. Productivity is going to be like the critical aspect of things. The second one is start small, but start embedded within your daily workflow within AI. That's going to be like the key element, in my opinion.
Great to hear. Vivek.
I'll say the most important thing for leaders and non-leaders is start building yourself, right? The analogy I often like to give is, it's the late 1800s. You were in the transport business. You had a fleet of horses. Mm-hmm. You knew to ride a horse yourself, and that's why you went into the transport business. The car just got invented, right? You're still in the transportation business, but if you don't drive those cars, you're not going to know how to design a successful transportation business. And so that's the main advice I'd leave people with.
Well, it's safe to say 2026 will very much be the year of agents. Such a pleasure sitting down with the three of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ryan.
Thank you.